Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today, we will be talking about the continuation of the previous video on how to install Hermes and set up Sectors MCP in Hermes. Basically, what we're going to do today is set up an LLM wiki using Obsidian and also utilize the multi-agent capabilities of Hermes. To get things started, what you first want to do is go ahead and download Obsidian. You can get Obsidian from the link obsidian.md. Once there, you can go ahead and get Obsidian for your device. Once installed, you should be prompted to create a new vault. So what you want to do is just go ahead and create a new vault. For in this case, let's say I want to name it Market Analysis. For the location, you can go ahead and just pick a folder location in your local device. For example, I'll be putting them on my Documents folder. Once that's done, go ahead and click Create, and you should be brought into this page where you get some basic setups. What you want to do is just go ahead and close them. I'm just gonna delete this real quick. And we'll be starting a new Obsidian Vault. Once the Obsidian Vault is created, you can go ahead and go to your Hermes agent and then add contacts, folder, and go ahead and select the Obsidian Vault that you just created. Once added, we should get to the LLM Wiki repository made by Andre Karpathy. For those of you who don't know, Andre Karpathy is one of the co-founders of OpenAI. So if you know about ChatGPT, then you should be familiar with the name. So basically, what this repository does is it tells you a little bit about the idea from Andre Karpathy regarding what an LLM wiki is. If you want to get a deeper read on it, you can go ahead and visit the repository. The link will be provided down below. But at the same time, we're just going to get through it real quickly. Basically, the main idea is that there are three layers of architecture. The first one is the raw sources. The second one is the wiki. The last one is the schema. So what you want to do is just go ahead and copy the entire thing. I'll be doing that by clicking raw and then just copy pasting everything. Once copied, go ahead and paste it to the Hermes agent chat and add in a little bit of a message. For example, mine is, please create a basic Obsidian LLM wiki setup in the market analysis folder. You can go ahead and enter that. Once the setup is completed, we can go ahead and go back to Obsidian. As you can see, now we've got a basic setup on what the LLM wiki will look like. There are three particular folders, which are raw, schema, and wiki. To get things done real quickly, what we want to do is get a document that we want to analyze. So for me, I'll be going over to sectors.app, and I will be looking for a company, for example, BBCA. And then I'll download their files or their data from sectors. We can save it in the Market Analysis Obsidian Vault into the raw folder. Once the file is in the Obsidian Vault, or in particular the raw folder, what we want to do is go ahead and go back to Hermes and just tell it to ingest the new file. For example, I'll be telling it to go ahead and ingest the new file in the raw folder. The agent will then do some extractions. Once the extraction is completed, it will then create the wiki summary page. Okay, as you can see, it says ingest complete. What we can do is go ahead and go back to the Obsidian node. Once you go back to Obsidian, you should be able to see that there is a new node called BBCA. So what you want to do is go ahead and click BBCA on the sidebar, or you can just go ahead and click the node. From here, you can see a bunch of the notes that has been taken by Hermes itself. It'll show you a bunch of things like the fundamentals, growth has stalled, that's a new information that you should probably get to know, and then there's the derating and etc. But that's for the singular agent, I should say. Now we're going to move on to the multi-agent functionality of Hermes. To get the multi-agent set up, what you want to do is go ahead and visit the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. In my case, I've already set up a bunch of agents earlier, so now I currently have 4 agents. The first one is called Agent Creative, second one is Agent Literal, third one is Agent Orchestrator, and the last one is the Agent Summarizer. To add a new agent, what you want to do is just go ahead and click the plus button. It's called New Profile. And then what you can do is go ahead and then you can enter the name and the soul.md. This is basically what you want the agent to do. For example, this is the soul.md for my agent orchestrator. Another way to add a new agent is by going to your terminal and starting up the Hermes dashboard. To turn on the terminal, what you want to do is go ahead and visit the bottom right hand corner of your screen and then enter in Hermes dashboard. And then you will be brought into the Hermes dashboard on your browser. As you can see, at the top left-hand corner, there should be your agents as well. But to add a new agent, what you want to do is go ahead and scroll down a little bit and click Profiles. As you can see, I've already set up a bunch of agents, just like in the Hermes desktop app. To make this a lot cleaner, I'm just going to delete them all. Now it's cleaned up, let's start to make a bunch of new agents. To make a new agent, go ahead and visit the top right-hand corner of your screen and click Create. Go ahead and enter the name and go ahead and enter the description. For the model itself, you can go ahead and select what you want, but for me, I'll be leaving it as inherit from clone or default, which in my case is DeepSeek. I chose that simply because it's cheap at the time. So you can go ahead and just choose whichever AI model you prefer. Once that's done, go ahead and click Create. And when that's done, congratulations, you just made your first agent. Now, since we're talking about multi-agent functionality, what we want to do is just add some more agents. Once you've added some more agents, it should look a little bit more like this. In my case, I've added a total of 6 AI agents. Now, the total of AI agents can only be determined by you, but for my case, it'll be like this. If you want to follow the same setup, I will also provide the agent names and descriptions down below in the description. So to kick things off, what you want to do is just go ahead and refresh the page. Once refreshed, there should be a new option at the top left-hand side of your screen, which says the dashboard default. So what you want to do is go ahead and pick the orchestrator. The orchestrator's role is to receive the task that I will give it and then just delegate it to the other agents. Once clicked, go ahead and scroll down a little bit and find the Kanban board. Once there, you can go ahead and take a look real quick. In my case, I have some stuff that is on the done section because I've already used my previous 4 AI agents to do the multi-agent framework. To start things off, all you have to do is just go ahead and click the plus button down here and then put everything in the title. What I wanted to do is just basically to research a certain company or a ticker. Since we've already used BBCA before, what we want to do is just add BBRI and then go ahead and select the workspace that you want to use. This workspace should be the Obsidian Vault that we have created in this session. So what you want to do is just go ahead and paste the file location of the workspace. Once that's done, go ahead and click Create. When created, it should be dropped down to the triage section. If you have your orchestration set on auto, that should probably mean that it will auto decompose, which means all you have to do is just drop the task down in the triage section. But in my case, since I want it to be fast, I can go ahead and click the task and manually start the decompose part. Once the decompose is completed, it should add more things to the other sections. In my case, there's the thing on to do, and there are also the stuff on ready. What you want to do is just go ahead and wait. This will probably take a while. In my experience, it usually takes about half an hour for the multi-agent setup to finish doing its thing. In the cases where you find that the AI agents aren't doing anything, go ahead to the Nudge Dispatcher button and go ahead and click it. So if in your screen the tasks are stuck at ready, you can just go ahead and click it and it will start moving it into the in progress section. Once left alone for a while, everything from the triage section to the ready and everything in between, really, it should be empty. Now, the latest things should be on the rightmost section, which is called done. If you all remember, previously there were only about 10 tasks here, but now it's on 15. Basically, you should be seeing everything completed here. In my case, it should be this one. Yeah, this is the original prompt or the description I gave the task in triage, and now it's completed. If you scroll down a little bit further, there should be more things that are completed. Well, anyways, now that's done, we can go ahead and go over to the Obsidian Vault once again. Here is my current Obsidian Vault. As you can see in my Obsidian Vault, now there are two new nodes, which are BBRI Narrative Brief and BBRI Synthesized Brief. Now, if your prompting is good, everything should be moved in the raw folder. But in my case, my prompt wasn't perfect, so it's put into the Obsidian Vault themselves. So what we want to do is just go ahead and grab the two files and then move them to the raw. Okay, once that's done, we should be able to go back to Hermes. Once we're back in Hermes Agent, we can just reprompt the Hermes Agent itself. In my case, since I previously prompted it on a previous profile in which I deleted when I set up the new Hermes Agent setup or the multi-agent setup, I will have to reprompt it again. Okay, my prompt is done. So basically what I did is just point the Hermes agent to the Obsidian Vault once again, and then just prompt it. This folder is an Andrei Karpathy style LLM wiki. Have a read at the schema. After that, I need you to ingest the two new files that were created by the multi-agent Kanban board task I ran earlier. So what we want to do is just go ahead and hit enter. Okay, once Hermes answers the prompt, what you want to do is just go back to Obsidian, and in Obsidian you should find a new node called BBRI or basically anything that you prompted it earlier. In my case, I'm just gonna open BBRI. Once opened, you should be able to find the information or basically the output of the analysis that was made by the Hermes agents. Once you get to the bottom of the document or the Obsidian node, you can see things like conflicts flagged. This is the things that the AI found to be conflicting, and you can have a read about it. This is also one of the benefits of using multiple AI agents to do one work. The purpose is so that you can find multiple sources and you can cross-check them against each other. Once cross-checked, you can find the necessary information and then compare them with each other. And then you can try to look it up more to confirm which one is true. Additionally, there is also the verdict as the main conclusion of the entire work process. That will be all for the video. If you followed the video from the beginning to the end, then that means you've already created your own Hermes agent as your research assistant. That is all from me. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.